All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're going deep on a research paper about motion sickness in automated vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty fascinating because, we're on the cusp of this like transportation revolution
Oh,
with
yeah.
self-driving cars.
Yeah.
And, the idea is like commutes where you can catch up on work or even take a nap, but
Yeah, there's this ironic
there's
twist
this ironic twist.
to it that the very technology that's supposed to free us from having to drive
Right.
might leave us, reaching for the barf bag.
Exactly. And this paper digs into that, why that happens, and most importantly, what can we do about it? I mean,
Mhm.
think about it. Like, you're finally free to like work on that presentation during your commute, but then you get car sick.
Right?
It defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah, it really undermines the potential of
Yeah.
this whole thing.
So to unlock that potential, we have to figure this out.
We absolutely do.
Okay, so break it down for me. Like, why does being a passenger sometimes make us feel queasy, especially if we're trying to do other things?
Well, one of the leading theories is sensory conflict,
Okay.
which is essentially your brain getting mixed signals.
Uh-huh.
So imagine you're in a self-driving car and you're engrossed in a book.
Okay.
Your eyes are telling your brain we're still, which
Oh,
your inner ear, which is what senses motion, is saying, whoa, we're moving.
interesting.
And that disconnect can trigger nausea.
So it's not just about having a sensitive stomach,
Right.
it's about how our brains are processing the experience.
Exactly. And then you add another layer to that, which is anticipation.
Okay.
If you're the one driving, you anticipate the turns, the accelerated, the braking.
Right.
But as a passenger, those movements can feel very sudden and unpredictable,
Yes,
which can worsen motion sickness.
totally. I'm already a nervous passenger even when someone else is driving.
Right.
So how are researchers even studying this? I mean, it's not like they can just take people on crazy roller coasters and call it science.
Well, they do have some pretty creative methods.
Okay.
Driving simulators with VR headsets are a big one.
Oh.
They can recreate those unpredictable movements
Mhm.
and measure people's reactions in a very controlled environment.
So it's like a virtual reality roller coaster, but for science.
That's a good way to put it.
That's wild.
And it gets even more interesting because some studies involve real-world driving tests on routes specifically designed to induce motion sickness.
Oh.
Passengers might be asked to read text or watch videos while the car navigates curves and changes in speed.
Wait, they're making people car sick on purpose?
Well, they are inducing motion sickness for the sake of research.
I bet there's a long line to sign up for those studies.
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
But these real-world tests are really crucial
Okay.
because they help researchers understand how different passenger activities contribute to motion sickness
Right.
in an actual driving condition.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You can't just simulate everything you have to get
Exactly.
out in the real
You
world.
got to see how it plays out
Yeah.
in the wild, so to speak.
Yeah. So we know why motion sickness happens in these vehicles and how researchers are studying it. But like the big question is, can we actually prevent it?
Right.
Like, are there solutions out there?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's not as simple as just popping a motion sickness pill.
Right. Because we want people to actually enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
Like, what's the point of a self-driving car if you're miserable the whole time?
You're defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
So instead of just masking the symptoms,
Right.
the researchers are really looking at ways to target those root causes,
Okay.
those sensory conflicts and feelings of unpredictability
Yeah.
that we talked about.
So, like, what are some of the ideas out there?
One promising avenue is using different types of cues,
Okay.
visual, auditory, even haptic cues,
Interesting.
to give passengers more information about the car's movement.
Okay, so I'm picturing like a heads-up display that shows me the upcoming turns like in a video game.
Yeah, that's one idea. Visual cues could provide a sense of the car's motion in relation to the world outside,
Right.
helping to reduce that sensory conflict.
Yeah.
But visual cues alone, they might not be enough.
Right, especially if you're trying to like work or read.
Exactly.
In the car, it would be distracting.
You don't want to overload the
Yeah.
visual system.
So what else?
Well, that's where auditory cues could come in.
Okay.
Imagine like subtle sounds that prepare you for upcoming turns, acceleration, or braking.
So like a gentle whooshing sound when the car starts to turn?
Exactly.
Okay.
These sounds could act as sort of a pre-warning system,
Interesting.
helping your brain anticipate the movement
Right.
and reduce that element of surprise.
And since it's not visual, it doesn't interfere with me reading or
Exactly. They can work.
in background. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we've got visual, auditory. What about like haptic feedback?
Yeah.
Like where does that come in?
So think of that as a more physical connection
Okay.
to the car's movement,
Oh.
maybe a subtle vibration in the seat or a gentle pulse on your wrist.
Okay.
That signals changes in speed or direction.
So it's almost like the car is communicating with me through touch?
In a way,
That's
yes,
kind of cool.
it is. And some researchers believe that these haptic cues could be especially helpful for people who are highly sensitive to motion sickness.
Interesting. Okay, I'm getting it, but it seems like each of these cues has its own like pros and cons.
Yeah. Sure.
So how do we decide which one to use?
Well, that's why a lot of researchers believe that a multimodal approach,
Okay.
combining different types of cues, might be the most effective.
So paint me a picture here.
Okay.
I'm a passenger in a future automated vehicle.
Okay.
What's that experience like? What are these cues doing to keep me comfortable?
All right, so imagine this. You settle into your seat. You tell the car your destination.
Okay.
As the car starts moving, a subtle visual display provides a peripheral view of the upcoming road.
Got it.
At the same time, gentle whooshing sounds signal turns and changes in speed, allowing you to anticipate those movements.
Uh-huh.
And if you've opted for that haptic feedback, you might feel a subtle pulse on your wrist as the car accelerates.
It's like a symphony of motion.
It
This
is.
to keep me from feeling sick.
Working in harmony.
That's amazing.
And here's the best part. Imagine a car that can actually learn your individual preferences and susceptibility levels.
So if I get car sick easily, the car would know to like adjust these cues to
Exactly.
keep me comfortable.
Precisely. It's like having a personalized comfort cocoon on wheels.
Oh, okay. This is getting good.
And as the car learns your preferences over time, the experience would only become more tailored to you.
That's what I call a truly smart car.
Right.
But let's be realistic here.
Sure.
This all sounds very futuristic.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the challenges they're facing to making this a reality? Okay, so we've talked about the causes of motion sickness, how researchers are studying it, and some really cool potential solutions using like visual, auditory, and haptic cues.
Uh-huh.
But I'm curious, where does this all lead? What's the bigger picture?
Well, if you kind of zoom out and think about the implications of this research,
Yeah.
it goes way beyond just making car rides more bearable.
Okay.
It's about fundamentally changing how we live, work, and travel.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me that future vision.
Okay, well, imagine a world where your daily commute transforms from lost time into productive time.
Right.
Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, you're free to work on that presentation, catch up on emails, or even have a virtual meeting.
Oh, yeah, like a mobile office.
Exactly.
I can see the appeal.
And think about long road trips. What if those hours on the highway become opportunities to relax, connect with loved ones, or even learn something new?
I've always fantasized about a cross-country road trip and seeing all the sights, but all that driving,
Right.
not so appealing.
But with comfortable and reliable automated vehicles,
Yeah,
those long journeys could become true adventures.
I like it.
You know, you could watch movies, play games, or just enjoy the scenery without the stress of driving.
So it's not just about avoiding nausea, it's about opening up a whole new realm of possibilities.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. What if, instead of just trying to eliminate motion sickness, we use this research to create entirely new in-car experiences?
Oh, okay.
What are we talking about?
Well, imagine an automated vehicle that's equipped with advanced sensors and personalized settings that can actually create a sense of excitement and exhilaration.
Wait, so you're saying we could actually make car rides fun?
Think about it. What if you could choose a setting that simulates the thrill of a roller coaster?
Oh,
Or the gentle rocking of a boat? Or even the sensation of flying?
that's a wild idea.
Yeah.
But I can see how it could be appealing.
Right. It's about using the technology to create a truly immersive and customizable experience.
Like turning your car into a personal amusement park.
In a way, yes. And this is just scratching the surface.
Okay.
This research could also have major implications for fields like healthcare and entertainment.
Imagine using these sensory cues to create therapeutic experiences for people with anxiety or PTSD,
Interesting.
or using them to enhance virtual reality and gaming experiences.
Yeah, the possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
And that's what makes this research so exciting. It's not just about solving a problem, it's about unlocking a whole new world of possibilities.
Well said. So as we wrap up our deep dive into motion sickness in automated vehicles, what's the one key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the most important thing to remember is that this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
The research we've discussed today is laying the groundwork for a future where automated vehicles aren't just a mode of transportation, but an extension of our lives, our workspaces, and even our entertainment hubs.
And who knows what incredible innovations and experiences will emerge along the way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.